Hey gays and gals, I'm Chris, aka ChristopherJMUA, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be testing out, swatching, and getting our first impressions of the Colourpop Darth Vader eyeshadow palette. So if you'd like to see how this swatches, performs, and what look I create, then stay exactly where you are because we're getting into it right now. The Colourpop Darth Vader eyeshadow palette is $16. I ordered mine directly from Colourpop.com, and it's in collaboration with Disney and Lucasfilm. This special edition Darth Vader palette features Empire-inspired hues in a cool mix of sleek grays, gunmetals, and charcoals with pops of scarlet and merlot. Now when we take a look at the unit carton that the palette comes in, this looks really cool. Just having Darth Vader on the front of it with what looks like the stars coming at you really fast from the background. There's a starship fight in the back. It's just really action-packed and a very motion-derived scene. Then on the back we have the same kind of print, but we have the shades in the center. Now let's open it up and see what it looks like in person. I've only seen photos. I don't know what the palette actually looks like, so I'm really excited to see how rich this palette gets. Okay, so palette component is exactly the same as the unit carton. Even the back duplicates the shade names the same. And we should have a protective sheet inside. We do, and here's the Darth Vader palette. Everything is so much darker than I thought. It's a really, really rich palette. Oh, and that red looks so yummy. I cannot wait to use that one. Okay, let's see how these swatch. The first shade feels like a super shock, and it's the shade Stormtrooper. Imperial Forces. Battle Station. Gone Galactic. I Am the Master. Death Star. The Empire. Dark Side. And last, Sith Lord. And there's all 9 shades from the Colourpop Darth Vader eyeshadow palette. You guys know I won't leave you hanging. Here's photos of the swatches, one with flash here, and one without flash here. Those swatches were so pretty. This palette is really dark, so the look we're gonna get today is definitely gonna be really dark as well. That's completely okay though. I don't mind a dark look. It is Darth Vader, does sort of fit. I did go ahead and prime my eyes while I was off camera using my Gerard Cosmetics Clean Canvas Eye Base in the shade Medium. Use code ChristopherJMUA to save 30% on any Gerard Cosmetics purchase. And I'm gonna start with the shade Battle Station right here, and she's gonna go just in the crease. This shade is pretty much gonna act as my transition shade. Since it's not quite the lightest shade in the palette, but it's definitely not the darkest shade in the palette, it should give me a nice even veil of color that I can just work with to deepen and lighten up. You know, with this shade just being a solid gray, I wouldn't have really anticipated that it has a lot of dimension or range in it if you blend it out and kind of thin it down a little bit, but it does, and it almost turns into this sort of like lighter maroon tone? I don't really know. I don't understand that. It's really unique though. I don't think I've ever seen a grayish kind of color like this that does that on the outer edges as you thin it down. It lets me know that it's gonna work with the red in the palette though, because it kind of looks like it has a red border around it, or a slightly red tint. Kind of. Next, I'm gonna do things a little bit differently than what I normally do. I usually go in and start deepening immediately after I lay down my transition shade, but today I'm gonna take the shade Imperial Forces instead, and this is the lighter shade, and I'm going to apply this to the inner corner and go ahead and blend out this darker shade I just applied up into the brow bone before I add the darker shades. Since this look is for sure going to be very dark, I wanna save the darker shades for last so they don't get way too high way too quickly. Because knowing me, they will. And I'll end up with just a solid black look with a little bit of red. Oh, wow, okay. So once you get this on the eye and start blending it out, the major difference between those two shades is the one I'm putting on now is more like a charcoal gray sort of lighter tone, and it's really cool. And the other one is more like sort of a greigey taupe with a really warm undertone. And they make the most interesting color when they blend together. It's like this smooth transition from bluish gray coolness to warm undertoned grayish. I think I'm finally ready to deepen up the look just a little bit. So now I'm gonna go into the shades The Empire and Sith Lord together and just kind of take a little bit of each one and start deepening up the crease all the way across. Getting a little bit of fallout with this shade. Didn't have any problems out of the first two in fallout, but the moment I put the brush down, I did start to get a little bit on the outer edge. It's not bad though. Those two shades mixed together immediately turn into a purple. So I guess we're running into another cool tone, warm tone situation. I'm gonna try to build up more of the Empire shade than the Sith Lord shade because I didn't know it was gonna turn super purple. I thought it was gonna stay more of this maroon shade like it is in the palette. My own fault for mixing cools and warms though. I should have tested it on the back of my hand or thought about it more. Ooh, but regardless, it is applying so perfectly. I'm also gonna pull some back following this little wing shape that I like to do and then fill it in. This did get really dark really fast, just like I thought it would. So now I'm gonna take the first brush that I used in the Battle Station shade and just go around these edges really quick and use some light circular motions to try and buff out the edge just a little bit, just so it's not so crazy intense and a super sharp line. I'm not going for a graphic liner look today. At this point, it's time for black. So I'm gonna use Dark Side here at the bottom. I think it's black. It seems like black, but with a bunch of purpley glitter in it. And I'm going to slowly start building up the black, but I'm only gonna keep this one on the outer half of the crease. I'm not gonna bring it to the inner corner because I do want to sort of stretch out the design on the eyes and see if I can't make it a little bit brighter in the inner corner and darker on the outer corner. We really need some shimmer. It is time. I've built up the mattes enough and I'm feeling lonely here. I'm feeling less glamorous than I want to feel. I'm gonna take this shade Death Star right here, this amazing like charcoal gray black, and put that all over the lid. Whoa. Okay then, normally metallic shades like this, like grays and silvers, a lot of the time when you go to put them on the first time, they end up really sheer and you have to build them up a lot. I'd say probably 9 out of 10 times I end up having to use my finger just to get them to look solid, but this one, just putting it on with a dry brush, no tacky base, no spraying the brush, nothing, and it is solid. That is opaque. Color's just so rich. Then only on the outer corner right here where I used the black previously in the crease, I'm gonna take that black and just pull it down onto the outer V. It's just to deepen up that gray just a little bit so it ties into the crease a little bit better. Just like that. That's all it needed. I would say right now we've got a pretty amazing imperialist look going on, but I need to add in the lightsaber. You can't have Darth Vader without red. So what I'm gonna do is just take my ring finger into I Am the Master, and I'm just going to lightly apply this right over the center of the lid. I don't really want it to take over everything. I almost want it to look like it's kind of a duochrome flip where you see the black, but then you see the hint of red and you're like, wait, is that red? Yes, it is red. That's how I want it to read. So let's see if we can do that. That is so cool. Wow. Okay, that definitely didn't do what I wanted it to do, where it just kind of looked like a flip. It is for sure red, but I'm not mad at it. I actually kind of like how that looks. I want to add more though, but I'm very glad to know that I can just add a little bit of wash of red and it still shows up, which is very light at this point. Yep. That is really cool. I need to grab just a little bit more Dark Side, pull it back down onto this outer corner, and that should be perfect. Oh, that's awesome. For the final touch, let's make Stormtrooper our brow bone highlight. If I can pick it up with a flat brush. Oh yeah, this is a Super Shock kind of texture. You can see how this kind of doesn't work, I suppose. When you run the brush through and try to pick it up because it's so dense, all it really does is just flatten it around and move it. So that lets me know I'm gonna need a brush that has a little bit more fluffy bristles at the end, but I'm gonna try to put this on anyway, just a little bit, see if it'll work. I don't think it's working. So I'm gonna try this one instead. The bristles, I've had it for so long that it's kind of like frayed at the ends, so I'm hoping maybe I can poke into the shadow a little bit better and pick up some more pigment. Oh yeah, okay, that's working. Yeah, that's definitely working. Ooh, it puts it on very chunky at first. Just look at that perfection. Do you see that glow? Oh, it's gorgeous. Who knew Darth Vader could be so luminous? Hey, 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 I just realized we used every shade in the palette except Gone Galactic. How's that for excessive? Now this definitely needs some cleanup. There's a little bit of fallout under the eyes, really just the red and the blacks, or like the really, really dark shades. Those are the only ones that had a bunch of fallout. The other shades didn't. Needless to say, there's a big mess that I need to clean up. I need to sort of shape the sides a little bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and do all of that off camera, get all my face makeup done, get everything else finished, and I'll be right back to give my final thoughts on the Colourpop Cosmetics Darth Vader eyeshadow palette. And we are back with the finished look using the Darth Vader eyeshadow palette. So what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts and opinions, questions, concerns, and emotional outbursts in the comments below. You guys know that I'm always hanging out down there with you, just chilling, talking to you guys. Now with this palette, yes, definitely the theming and the packaging for sure got me. That was the reasoning for the original purchase. When I bought and reviewed the Mandalorian palette, which I'll leave that one linked up here if you want to see that review, quality was impeccable and the results I got were gorgeous. And I feel like that was part of the reason why this one drew me in so much, because it's Star Wars themed. I knew that formula was great. I thought maybe this formula would be the same. It seems like it is because it's pigmented, it blends well, the metallics are intense, and the Super Shock shadow is so ethereal. I do for sure get Darth Vader vibes from this look and the color story within the palette. That being said, if you want more than gray and red, you might want to get another palette, because this palette is pretty much gray and red. But if you like that kind of color story, you like the theme of Darth Vader, and you don't mind just getting real dark and vampy, then you will love this palette. I hope you ladies and gentlemen enjoyed the review of this Colourpop palette. If you did, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up just to let me know you enjoyed the video. And if you like videos like this, first impressions, reviews, unboxing, collaborations, challenges, anything beauty related, we would love to have you join the family and hit the subscribe button right down there. Also hit the notification bell right beside subscribe so that maybe YouTube might notify you when I upload a new video. Also, if you like this look and you want to see more looks like them, you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, and TikTok. My username is the same for everything. It's just ChristopherJMUA. And if you gain nothing out of this video, if you gain nothing out of any of my videos, then please at least gain this. And that is to always remember and never forget that you are absolutely beautiful. And I love you guys. Bye.